do the Pan African connection, what are some of the things that we can do to without without saying another kind of way, but how can we, as we hook this up? Because what we don't want to do, we don't want some of our cultural values we have that we've learned here. We don't want to take them over there. So what are some of the things we can do as we do this transition, this connection, to have our community understand that, look, as we hook up, we need to go and learn the cultural stuff that we forgot because we were enslaved. How do we present that to our people to have them understand that they don't need to go crank Africa up? We don't need Africa crunk up. So
well, I think we have more in common than we have different. Mm-hmm. And I think once you get together with people born on the continent, you'll see that, look, we're not so we're really we have more in common than we have different. So I think we'll see eye to eye on many things. Mm-hmm. And like you said, we don't have all the answers. The people born in diaspora don't have all the answers, and that we can definitely learn from each other. We can both help each other. We need some of the. But Mother Africa has to be primary, right? It has to be first, and that we definitely have to use whatever skills, resources, whatever we have to go and help build Mother Africa too. But you're right, we can't go thinking we are this, we have all the answers, because we don't. But collectively, there's nothing man and woman cannot do, and Africa needs all hands on deck for sure.
All hands on deck. So culturally, you're saying that what we need to do is basically need to, again, go over and learn what they're doing, and then
and see how we can help.
Right. Even go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that if we travel to Africa a lot, and we do business with people in Africa, but Africa is still operated and controlled by. They have black leaders, but a lot of them are what we call neo-colonialists, right? They are those that are still pushing the agenda of the original colonizers, right? Of Britain, France, Portuguese, all these different, folks. But so we definitely have to go in and just having what we call just do some political education and let people know.
We're going to talk about that. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But what I'd like you to address is, how we address, because we grew up when white people were telling us, we couldn't even talk to Africans back when I was growing up. What they were telling us, hey, they don't like y'all. Then they're telling them over there, hey, they don't like y'all. So hey, they don't like us. So what do we do to address some of that? And what I tell folks is this. I said, look, the people telling you that they don't like you, they don't like you. So why would you listen to somebody that don't like you tell you who don't like you? So, but what we do is we do this collective hookup. How do we address that issue to have people understand, hey, look, drop that. Don't let other people tell you how to pick your leaders. What do you think?
I say the biggest threat to an unjust system is a unified people, right? Whenever somebody tells you, it's all propaganda. They don't like you, you don't like them. They don't want you to come together. They don't want you to see yourselves as one, because collectively you can't be stopped, right?
Right.
So it's a divide and conquer technique. It's nothing new, and we understand it. So, like you, we say no. Whenever we give examples, we're one people. We again suffer from all over the world. In Africa, there's low health care. There's low job, low unemployment. There is there's just. Mm-hmm. All of these things, and the same companies are exporting Africa, are exporting us here.
Right.
So we are one people suffering from the same problems, from the same enemy, and again a unified people are hard to stop. So yeah, of course it's divide and conquer. That's simple.
I think Jacob Hoover said in the where they released those documents, he said biggest threat to America is a unified black people.
That's exactly true.
So I think he understood that that we are, again, look, we still here.
Exactly.
After all that we've been through, so we're still here. So that's amazing. Now you talked a little bit, and we're going to talk about some of that, some of those dynamics that's over in Africa here in a minute. So again, but before we do that, I want to again talk about some of this beautiful art you got. You have like so where you is this for sale? The art on the wall? Is that for sale? Or is that decoration?
Some of it is. Some of it was painted by a brother artist in Dallas, passed away a while back, named Walter Wynn. He painted some of the best portrait paintings of anyone. So he painted a lot of pictures for us. We sold a lot of them. And all of his pieces are like collector's items now. Ain't nobody selling them. If they have Walter Wynns in their home, they ain't selling them.
They ain't selling.
So some of these portraits were painting some of the Du Bois, some of the King, the Malcolm X, the Paul Robeson, the Amilcar Cabral, the Harriet Tubmans, Kwame Nkrumah, Sekou Touré. Some of these portraits were painted by him. So they're not for sale, but they are for people to see and ask questions about. Now we have one of the largest collections of African art, carvings and things. I think, well, I don't know, but people tell me that they've seen anywhere in this country in one spot. So the wood carvings and things, of course, we use to tell stories and just remind people of their own symbols and their own strength. When they walk through the doors, they see statues that are smiling at them, tall, strong, with their own symbols, with their own features. So the African carvings are very important too. They are, because our stories were sometimes not written down but put in the art.
This is kind of talking future business. In Africa, what is the market for what we have? I mean, I know we have the commercial stuff, but is there a market for African American art, so forth and so on in Africa, or is that something to be developed?
I think it's probably something that needs to be developed. A lot of people in Africa can't afford these type of prices that people charge for art here in this country. Matter of fact, there are not many bookstores in Africa because the people can't really afford to purchase books, because people don't make the kind of money to purchase a $20 book. They may make $20 for the whole month. So yeah, I think it is because of the economic conditions. A lot of this market is not there. There are a lot of people. There's people with money too, like people with money here, and people without money, but not as many people. More people without than with. So yeah, that would be the only obstacle that I see in incorporating some of the things from here.
Okay. So well, sure, there's something we got that we could market from our community. I'm trying to think. Can you think of anything?
I don't know. That's a good question. For me, if I move to Africa today, I'm trying to think, what would I need from the States, right? Because Africa has everything that you need.
They do that.
And you breathe better, you eat better, you under less stress. You don't have to worry about all these bills that you're paying. So I don't know what I would need, to be honest with you, but other than to come back and see my family.
Okay. So as we hook this thing up, what's going to be the main benefits you feel that would be for the African American, and what do you think the main benefit would be for the Africans in Africa as we hook this collective?
Oh my gosh. I mean, if we go ahead and organize towards the objective of Pan-Africanism, seeing ourselves...
And we are. Go ahead.
Exactly. Seeing ourselves as one people, then many of us would, one thing is that we were organizing towards, under the All African People's Revolutionary Party, is to help form a United States of Africa, where African people, no matter where they are, across the diaspora, in the world, would be united under one governing body, right, well, of Africa, not Nigeria, not Ghana, not this place over here, but a united Africa. And we would fall under that umbrella as a sixth region of Africa. So we would have certain protections, certain sovereignties, right, under a United States of Africa,
Right.
instead of, because if somebody shoots somebody from China, they gonna hear about it from those folks, from that consulate, from that government. Italy, anywhere in the other place in the world, you would have to answer to that country or that government body. So here we don't have certain sovereignties or protections of a power base, right, that can protect us. So, but yeah, United States of Africa is something we should definitely discuss.
Well, that's a great segue into the continent, because the last year I've tried to educate myself about what's going on. There's a lot of things happening on the continent. Africa, the continent was accepted into the G20, so now it's G21. Currently what's going on is, again, they're kicking some of these colonial coup leaders out, and they began to remove the visa lines around the different states. So that's happening now, and so because they've come to figure out that when they broke them up into pieces like that and visaed them up like that, it made it hard for them to work together. So now they're moving toward the United States of Africa. Just FYI, okay, Marcus Garvey, he's the W. Du Bois and them, a lot of cats. When Nkrumah and them and that crew in the 60s was moving toward the United States of Africa, and the CIA went over and killed everybody, from what I understand.
True.
And so, and then later on, Gaddafi tried, and then they used the UN, went in and killed him. So now, what's going on now, from my perspective, from my study, from what I'm watching currently, this time what they're doing is they're leveraging BRICS, the economics of that's China, Russia, and so forth now. The economics that they're setting up against the West. So they're leveraging bad boys against bad boys. So this way, it's making it harder for them to come in and kill everybody like they normally do. So I'm pleasantly, I'm happy with the current direction of what they're doing, what they're trying to do. So what do you expect on the continent? What do you see happening over there as far as what you know?
I think it's for us. We are definitely happy to see some of these countries like Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, Ivory Coast. These countries stand up to the French, stand up to Britain, or stand up to some of these former colonial powers, right? It is still something we're waiting to see and to kind of get more clarity on. But I think we're all very happy to see these young men and women stand up to these colonial powers. And as you said, they're leveraging Russia and China because these are also power sources that the U.S. really don't want to mess with if they don't have to.
Right.
So, and that's sometimes the only way you have protection, like you said, to have these powers that possess nuclear weapons and who can go toe to toe with U.S. and European imperialism. So, definitely, but it's very promising, and we're still waiting to see how it plays out, but it's very uplifting for sure.
Well, like I say, Africa is awakening. Well, what they said they've come to understand was that after all these years of colonialism and quote freedom, they found out that all they did was they replaced the Bible with democracy. And so what happened was they were coming over, they were voting with democracy, but all their money was going to Europe. So they were still coming over to Europe, coming over to Africa, taking raw materials out and stealing raw materials, processing them and making money off of them. Also had their money go to the French banks. So they would actually have to borrow their own money, plus they were stealing from them. So basically what they decided was, they said, you know what? And then they tried to immigrate to those places, and they said, no, we don't want y'all over here. They said, wait a minute. We're the ones that got all of and then, but we're poor. So they finally figured it out that they don't need the Europeans. So they began to kick them out. And what I would say to the African Americans here in America is that we have, as a community, first of all, American GDP is like $21 trillion. We have a 2.5 African American, $2.5 trillion spending power. Okay, and what I would say to our African American leaders, why you all aren't fighting for us to have access to that $2.5 trillion where we can scale ourselves. So we're actually in the same position that the Africans are in. It's the same. In other words, we've been colonialized within, the system. So what do you think about that, and what are some of the things they would do about that as far as education or whatever?
Yeah, I think it's very important for us to keep up with what's going on the continent, right? Because these are our brothers and sisters, right? And we have to support them, right? And I think one good thing about social media is that it has gotten a lot of information out there about what's going on the continent. And so more and more people are sort of, more informed than they used to be, especially now, I think. And so, and as you said, Europe would be nothing without the resources of Africa. So there's more and more political education going on right now about how all of these resources in the Congo and Sudan and all of these natural resources that France especially
Right, yeah.
are taking out of Africa. She said going to France, refining them, and then making money off of them.
Yeah.
So it's just the people don't benefit at all. Only a few people, small percentage of the African elite are benefiting from all of that money and things that are being made from the African resources. So we just have to do our part. This program you're talking about here at the Pan-African Connection, we have to just continue to offer education about the current state of Africa.
They have a group over in Africa called ECOWAS. That's the economic group. I think it's in West Africa. But anyway, it's an economic group, supposedly for development of Africa. But when Niger and Mali now changed leadership, France tried to get ECOWAS, which is an economic organization, to go start a fight with everybody else. I was very pleased to see that they didn't go for it this time. They didn't let them they didn't just go start fighting. So I think that's a big move. And so I think that's going to portend for a lot of better things since they didn't do that. But of course, they're still having to work their way through it. Some of them are still, they hold on to their colonial piece. But again, like Ghana, I think yesterday, they decided to remove their visa lines also. So,
and then,
what do you think about that?
I mean, it's a trend. We knew it was coming. A lot of the countries kept the visa requirement for economic benefits, right? But places like Senegal, they've not had a U.S. visa requirement. South Africa has not had a U.S. visa requirement. So Ghana is now lifting it. They're hopefully soon it will be done.
No, I mean between the countries, between Africa.
Oh, is it between Africa? Oh, I thought it was between.
No, within the continent.
Okay. I think I read somewhere yesterday they were gonna, if you're traveling from the U.S., you wouldn't need a visa either.
Right.
So that's good. So it's a good thing. And then some countries like Sierra Leone, if you take your DNA test and it shows you are from these Menke people, or they'll give you actual passport.
Okay.
They'll make you a citizen of that country. So it's a lot is changing. So I don't think it'll be long before we will have dual citizenship to a lot of these countries. So that would be really good.
Oh, all right. Okay, this is Arthur Fleming, Civil Rights Today present I think until next time, thank you.